Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Kamilatul Fikriyah and my last number is 001. So I'm from group 11. Today we are going to present about Cinderella by Charles Perrault. This story is set in France between late 16th century to early 17th century. This story also known as the Little Glass Slipper. Actually, Cinderella is a girl whose father remarried with an evil-to-daughter widow, and she being tortured in her own house. As long as we've known together that in this story Cinderella comes to the party and meets the prince until they finally live happily. So in this video, our group will explain about the way the text constructs ideal norms of masculinity and femininity, and it will be explained by my friends.
Hello everyone, my name is Shinta Fitriya. My student number is 013. So, according to Xerox and Lewis' seminal study of masculinity and femininity, gender and gender-related components such as role behaviors, for example, head of household versus takes care of children, traits, occupation, and physical characteristics such as tall, broad-shouldered versus soft voiced and graceful were interdependent, impacting on one another as well as on perceived gender and sexual orientation. Physical appearance played a particularly large role. It showed that possible gender stereotypes are based on some sort of core masculinity and femininity. And similarly, individuals can use such core masculinity and femininity in their self-construction. And the next slide, it will be presented by my friends. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Firda Ovilia, my student number is 005. So I'm going to present about ideal norms of femininity in Cinderella. The first norms of femininity in Cinderella is women should stay at home and do the houseworks. Domestic works usually associated with women. This idea of stereotypical role is maintained by the stepmother of Cinderella. It can be seen in page 1 that said she employed her in the meanest work of the house. She scrubbed the dishes, tables, etc., and cleaned Madame's chamber and those of Mrs. her daughters. The second norms of femininity in Cinderella is physical appearance and beauty are the most important factors to define a woman. Women only seen as an object, which values depends on its appearances. It could be seen from the stepmother's jealousy toward Cinderella. Cinderella is more lovely than her stepsisters because she is born with her natural beauty. It can be seen in Perrault 122 that said she could not bear the goodness of this young girl because it made her own daughters appear the more odious. However, Cinderella, in spite of her mean apparel, was 100 times more beautiful than her sisters, though they were always richly dressed. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ayu Tandira and my last student number is 043. So, ideal norms of femininity in Cinderella is poise and graciousness as the attitude of noble women. A noble woman always have poise and gracious attitudes. This ideal norms is preserved by Cinderella at the prince ball. She can dance smoothly even if she is wearing fragile slippers. Cinderella is seen as a graceful woman by her ability to dance while wearing the delicate glass slippers without shattering them. She dances so very gracefully that they all admire her and more and more. Next is woman with beauty standard is powerful. The woman's power is on her beauty because her extraordinary beauty could drive others to respect and adore her. This ideal norms is given by the fairy godmother and the king. This also creates the idea of beauty standards as well, and society will encourage women to polish their looks over other aspects of themselves, such as occupations or intelligence. The king's son led her to the most honorable seat, and afterwards took her out to dance with him. She danced so very gracefully that they all more and more admired her.
So I will continue the explanation. My name is Dian Pramitha Utami and my student number is 019. I will continue the explanation about ideal norms of masculinity in Cinderella. So here in Cinderella, men often seen as hero with adventurous and dominant characteristics that reflects his power. And toward the end of the meeting between Cinderella and the prince acted as a dominant character that have aim, that have purpose to find the beautiful woman that he was seeing at his ballroom party. And this attitude indicates how men are judged by their powers and their actions. It is also proof by the major action that the prince wanted to find the missing beautiful woman throughout the kingdom where he lived as a prince, as we can see in the story. And after finding that beautiful woman, which is named Cinderella, the prince acted as a hero by marrying her, and he asking Cinderella to stay with him in a castle where Cinderella does not have to be a helper in her own home. So here, the prince is not just um, not just uh, portrayed as a hero, but he also controls the actions, the role of Cinderella as woman in her own house, in her own household. We can see in the dialogue. I will quote the dialogue. What they said was very true. For a few days later, the king's son the king's son had it proclaimed by sound of trumpet that he would marry her whose foot that slipper would just fit. They began to try it on the princesses, then the duchesses and all the court, but in vain. It is stated in the page 6. I think that is all we could present about Cinderella. I hope that our explanation about Charles Perrault Cinderella and um, the the, the ideal norms of femininity and masculinity is easy to be understood, and we will be seeing you next time in other assignments. Thank you. See you. Goodbye.